Okay, we are live. Good afternoon, everybody. We are doing a live session today on the role of coronavirus and Hinduism, and hopefully we'll have a lot of participants. We've got Manish Bhai and Vijay Bhai who will be asking questions on your behalf by looking at the YouTube channel as well as the Facebook channel, page. So Manish Bhai, let's give it a minute because people are just kind of loading up. So we'll start in about 30 seconds, yeah? But please be ready with your questions. And the viewers are welcome. Yeah, viewers are welcome to ask questions, send questions on YouTube or Facebook. Okay, let's start with you, Manish Bhai.
Namaste viewers, thanks for joining us on live broadcast on YouTube and Facebook. We are operating from UK Hindu Academy. We run WhatsApp group as well. If you want to join us, our number is +44 7459 531967. So you can join us on WhatsApp as well. We're starting with coronavirus situation. The current numbers is staggering. We have nearly 500,000 cases now with 22,000 deaths and 100,000 recovered. So it's a very serious situation affecting the whole of the world. So Jai Bhai, with coronavirus situation, some people are saying God or nature is taking revenge. What is going on? What is your take on that?
Yes, it's good to address such issues and make sure that we keep these issues separate. I'll give you an example. There are some religions who are saying now God is taking action and is going to now in a way punish humanity, and those who are goody will go to heaven, the rest are going to hell. And this is nonsense. What kind of a God is that? So again, the Hindus also have this. Sometimes they kind of mix up. For example, we go to the moment Navaratri. So somehow people feel that people feel that something to do with Mother Goddess. In fact, let me tell you an example. A few years back, when we were doing a Navaratri, at the same time we had the earthquake in Kutch. And I was at a meeting and there was a Labour member of Parliament who foolishly took the stage and took the mic and said, this is Mother Goddess showing her strength. Now, I was very upset. I said, how dare you make such connection? This, our God, does not in a way be such a violent God that he will take revenge on humanity. In the same way, we have to be careful that we keep the idea of religion and this idea of God separate, so we don't in a way mix them up. Now, you see, the thing is this. First of all, let us take things very carefully. First thing we have to take care of is this. We have to be very calm and not panic and not be frightened. We have to be very calm and steady, and then we can handle this particular issue. So the approach that I would suggest is this. Do not mix religion with it in the sense that God doesn't interfere in this particular manner. I'm sorry, I'm struggling with the connection on one of the channels. I don't know why, but anyway, we are doing our best. So please be careful not to mix up religion and this kind of serious issue we face. Let me give you my take. This is not the first time you have this kind of major epidemic or this kind of international kind of situation created. In 1918, we had the Spanish flu that killed 40 million people. 40 million people. We just keep our fingers crossed that this time we don't get into that same situation and we don't lose so many lives. But this has happened before. So these things repeatedly happen. And whenever they happen, the important thing we have to learn is this. Humanity is a very powerful thing and we are the reflection of the spirit. So whenever issues like this arise, we must roll up our sleeves and come fighting and resolve our issue rather than focus on external God. In fact, my mentor at the back here would suggest do the same thing. He said, for how many lifetimes will you rely on some external beings to try and sort you out? Try and focus on your own, if you like, on your own inner strength to tackle the issues that you face. And that is the situation at the moment. We have tremendous faith in humanity. We have faced these kind of issues before. We have found resolution and sorted ourselves out. And the same will happen this time. But this is quite a serious challenge that we face. So we need to be kind of very careful that we do not, in a way, compromise our own kind of strength and become weak and become frightened by the situation. I'll take some more questions from you, Manish Bhai.
Okay, sir. Thank you for that. We've seen a video of Vishnu and Lakshmi Bhagwan, conversing with each other. And what's going on earth? Why is all this suffering happening? Why do such events happen?
Yes, you can.
saying, if we don't have such things, how will people value, good things? How will, if there is no night, how will people value daytime in a way?
Actually,
How do you respond to such things?
I watched that as well. This is purely apologetic Hinduism. Apologetic Hinduism. So in the faith that in order to absolve God from this kind of serious issue, he said, look, I have to make life difficult so that you value me more. The Abrahamic tradition do the same. Now we are a very mature tradition. We should not fall back on this kind of easy ploy to get God out of the situation, saying, look, he's just testing us and all that. So what is the resolution? The resolution is as follows. It's very, it might rattle a lot of Hindus, but so be it. You see, my mentor at the back has been telling us repeatedly that it is necessary for you to shift your attention not on a God in heaven to sort you out, but try and resolve your own issues by focusing on your own strength, standing up for your own position and sorting yourself out rather than waiting for some God to sort you out. I mean, I would challenge the Hindus and say, look, you talk about Dhanvantari, the God of medicine. You can worship him, do what you like. You think he's going to come down with a serum to resolve our issue at the moment? No chance. So what is happening now is going to rattle lots of people who believe in God as a super personality to resolve our issues. It's going to rattle them. So be it. We have to be mature enough to recognize that the issue that the way we've been trying to address the human issue has to be now changed. In a way, one thing that is happening with this nasty, pesky little virus is that it is going to make us rethink about lots of things, religious as well as secular agendas that we've been chasing after. So it is going to rattle the whole system. In fact, the whole world format is going to change because of this particular pesky little monster. And so be it. Humanity has to evolve, keep moving. And sometimes this kind of a jolt is required for us to evolve and move forward. So I suspect this is going to be a jolt of that nature. I'll take some more questions from you. Vijay, are you online? Vijay?
Yes, I'm online, yes. We have some questions, interesting ones.
Yeah, go on.
One question we have is that, is it true that the entire universe, is made of energies and frequencies? And this pandemic may have been caused by an accumulation of low negative frequencies and perhaps caused by consuming non-veg food. I mean, how true is that?
Okay. You see, the first thing, let me tell you, when people ask me things like that, I say, look, this is really outlandish kind of analysis. It is not correct. There is no such evidence that there is some energies, some vibrations coming together to attack us. There is no such evidence. The only thing is this. When living things appear on earth, they are at the mercy of nature external. They are at mercy. You can't avoid it. Suppose you get earthquakes, suppose you get famines. The whole of humanity is at the mercy of nature external. Not that nature is vicious, but this is the way the cookie crumbles. When human beings or living things are born on earth, they have to in a way be aware that they are they have to fight against nature. In fact, the whole evolution of humanity is nothing but fighting against nature, not being pushed about by nature, but harnessing nature and ruling over nature. This is the sign of the spirit. So our attention should not be focusing on some negative energies coming together and hurting us. We have to recognize that these things will continue to happen. Such calamities will continue to happen. Look, one other interesting thing I must mention is this. You see, we've got some wonderful jewels in humanity. And one jewel that I really love is this guy called Bill Gates. Now in 2015, he gave a TED talk and he said the greatest calamity we may face will not come from nuclear war, which is what we fear, but will come from such epidemics. So I was surprised that he was already forecasting this about 3 or 4 years back, and this has come true. He says the world is so busy, with a highly materialistic agenda, they didn't bother with this idea of being aware, being ready for any epidemic that might hit us. So suddenly we are now grappling with this serious issue and trying to find a quick resolution. Can I also mention a few other things I need to really gets me worked up? You see, there are a lot of scams going on. When issues like this arise, humanity is under duress. We see the good side like Bill Gates and we see the bad side as well. I mean, look at Bill Gates. He's saying he will use his money not to kind of aggrandize himself or give the money to his children. He said, I'll use it for the betterment of greater humanity. I've taken the money for humanity, I'll give it back to them. So these are kind of people who will work for us to try and resolve this issue. And what about these billionaires in India? Sitting on billions. They are just bothered about just aggrandizing themselves and, we have got this big, showmanship. Come on, grow up, learn from the Westerners. This is the time to show your true humanity. So we see some good signs and some bad signs. I'll give you some other good signs. You see, for example, in the UK, I really love this nation because it's showing itself to be a spiritual nation. When we are struggling, the government said we need volunteers. Literally within a few days, 500,000 hands went up saying we are ready to volunteer. No money, we just help out humanity. This shows a sign of a spiritual nation. And then in some cases we see some, babas and, all these sadhus kind of trying to ride the back of this coronavirus to become more important, saying, look, we know we have got all the resolution. I heard one person saying, in order to see if you got the virus, there's a quite easy way to find out whether you got the virus. You breathe in, hold your breath in for 10 seconds, and if you don't start coughing, that means you don't have the virus. This is utter rubbish, utter nonsense. If it was that easy to test whether you got the virus, all these billions of dollars being spent by all the world governments to try and find a way of testing for virus would stop. They would say, just breathe in and find out from this, sadhu in India. So these kind of people should be put on the back and say, stop interfering. You are doing tremendous harm to humanity. Stop giving this kind of oversimplistic nonsense and as if some kind of yogic therapy. Don't do that. So I'm sorry, I'm a bit worked up today, so I will speak a little bit harshly today, but it is because I really feel hurt, and that is why I'm talking things like that. Vijay, have you got any other questions?
Yeah. What is your take on the strict...
Sorry, we got cut off. Manish Bhai, you better ask me a question.
Okay, I'll ask the question, sir. So, some people are saying, astrology can give a solution. What's your take on that?
No way. Since very early times, we've been saying that if you think some rocks floating in the sky are going to dictate the human destiny, then you're lost your plot. You're no longer a spiritual being, you are a lump of matter. So do not get carried away by this astrological nonsense either. And this idea of people saying, the other thing that I hear is, this is the beginning of this particular, yuga, etc. Look, we've had lots of epidemics before, and they were not new yugas and all that. So this kind of focusing on this astrology, on superstition, or even falling back on this religious personality is going to help you. You need to kind of keep your feet firmly planted on ground and resolve the issue that we face. This is what humanity is all about. We must do that and not get caught up all this kind of superstitious nonsense, including astrology. Vijay, any questions from you, sir?
Before we cut off that, what is your take on the measures taken by the Indian government on the situation?
Okay, let me be very honest. Look, I'm so pleased that at the moment our leadership is superb. I can't use better words. They are doing their best. It's impossible. Look, India is a very poor country and a very crowded country, very densely populated country. So we are really at a very dangerous situation. We are facing a very dangerous situation. You see, we don't have the same ability as the Chinese to kind of isolate people and start building hospitals overnight, etc. We are struggling. So the best thing Narendra Modi or the present leadership did is very simple. He said, clamp down. Isolate everybody. Just imagine a whole nation with 1.3 billion people asked to isolate themselves. It's very tremendous, creates tremendous hardship. This is the only way to save lives. Simple as that. But this is not the resolution, because what will happen is the moment you release this kind of, this self-imposed exile, and you kind of come back into society, this virus is waiting for us. It's not going to sort us out immediately, but it'll just slow down the kind of growth of this virus. That's all it's doing. I mean, this is the best a poor nation can do, and we have to give full marks to Narendra Modi to stand up as a good leader and take this kind of very difficult decision. So a tremendous love for him, and I hope we'll reduce the virus spread in India, because this is a poor nation that can really be at the mercy of this virus, and we are hoping a leadership like this will help us. Manish Bhai, any question from you, sir?
Yes, sir. Pradeep Khandar is saying some people are blaming God in this current situation. What to tell them?
Look, you see, the Hinduism I keep repeating, and this is why, look, this is not from me, by the way, this is from my mentor here at the back. Hinduism comes in two flavors. The deeper vision of Hinduism is principle-oriented Hinduism, Apurushaya Hinduism, saying underpinning to this reality is not some God, hello, I'm here, it's a spirit, Brahma, that kind of manifests as the creation and becomes more clearly visible as living things. Just manifestation. Why? Nobody knows. Nobody can ever answer that question, and nobody will ever answer that question. But when it manifests, it pays a price. When it manifests as a living thing in this material world, it is to, in a way, play a ball with the material forces. And this is one of the material forces turning into a virus, a little kind of a protein that's going to destroy humanity. So we have to face up to it and then, stand up against it. That's the sign of the spirit. Don't lie down and be negative. Be forceful, upright, and fight against it. This is the sign of the spirit. And you see, no God comes into the picture here. A principle manifesting and paying a price. So this is how the cookie crumbles. You can't blame a God for it. So look, two things will happen. People who are highly focused on this kind of personality-oriented Hinduism, personality-oriented God in any religion are in trouble now. Straight away trouble. So a major rattling is going to take place with all religions. Because how can people sitting in the churches or the mosque or the temple saying, "Oh, God help us," and where is the God now? Where is he coming? So they are going to be rattled. So be it. It's time to evolve, move forward. Go from this very personality-oriented foundation saying God is sending you these signals or God is killing us, to focus on humanity, and underpinning to humanity is essentially spiritual. This is the idea of Hinduism. So it is necessary, this particular jolt is going to force us to go back to principle-oriented Hinduism, and people who are strictly focusing on personality-oriented Hinduism are going to suddenly find that the foundation is gone. Let it be. It's not only the religious community is going to be rattled severely. If you like, the secular lobby is going to be rattled to the core as well. It's going to bring about a major change of worldview. For example, the secular worldview is very simple. We are so clever. We sorted everything out. We can eat, drink, burp, eat more and more, drink more and more, create global warming. Doesn't matter. Who cares? Just enjoy life fully. We are okay. Suddenly that has been smacked in the face. This kind of highly materialistic objective, this frenzied lifestyle that the materialistic objective was promoting, is now rattled to the core as well. You can't do it. You can't go on your cruises. You can't go to your pubs and your clubs and anything. You can't even eat, drink, or go and meet your friends even. So suddenly the whole system has been, kind of rattled to the core. The secular lobby, the materialistic lobby, as well as the religious lobby. So what is happening? According to me, look, I can never say there's anything good coming out when millions of people are at mercy of this virus. But the thing is this is going to be the side effect. The situation will change now. This idea of, look, suppose you go into the temple and pray, "Oh Lord, help us. Oh, Dhanvantri, come down and sort us out. Oh, Vishnu, take an avatar." Is it going to work? Ask yourself. Not me, ask yourself. I'm not here to rattle your faith. In fact, let me say something positive out of faith, otherwise I'll appear very negative. You see, one of the things we can do when this virus is upon us is this. We have to increase our immunity. We have to become stronger. Because if you increase your immunity, according to the scientific lobby, you can fight off the virus. Your immunity must be strong enough for your body to fight off the virus, no external God. So, to increase your immunity, suppose you say, if I focus on the super personality, "Oh Shiva, help me, that faith that I have in Shiva is going to help me," it will. So this is the positive side. So if, for example, you have this tremendous love for any personality, any good idea, and if it's going to increase your immunity, give you greater self-confidence, it has done its work. So that's the positive side. But then you expect him to come down and sort you out. No, you have to sort yourself out by being strong in yourself. Vijay, can I take any more questions from you, sir?
Yeah, we have one more question, yes?
Yes.
Regarding, do you think that practice like yoga can help us in fighting of this virus?
Okay. Suppose you've been yoga doing all your life and you've got a very strong physical structure, mental structure. Of course, that's going to help you against any disease, including this one. Because your immunity is up, your physical health is good, and that will help you. But that's a long-term thing. Suppose you are facing this issue tomorrow. You might get infected tomorrow. Trying to practice yoga is going to sort you out. So it has to be a long-term resolution that this is how humanity should, in a way, address its own condition to sort out long-term issues, not some short-term issue. But that's the only thing I can say. Manishbhai, any questions from you, sir?
Yes, sir. Regarding miracles, sir, in one of the videos you said, someone with a Raj Yoga experience of ultimate reality can bring about physical changes. So can a yogi with, God experience help in this situation?
Well, he can help himself, perhaps. Whether he can help others, I'm not so sure. The important thing is this. Yogic powers, the mind is very powerful, thing that we possess. It has got tremendous infinite power, in fact. So if you are able to tap into the powers of the mind, that's what the Patanjali Yoga Sutra says, then you can bring about physical changes, including fighting of any serious disease as well. That is true. That is actually accepted in our tradition. But this will be only 1 in a million has this power. The rest of us are at the mercy of the physical world that we inherit. You see, there was one young lady, I think Murjani or somebody, who was struggling with severe cancer. Now, she was not a yogi, but she was struggling with severe cancer, about to die. Then suddenly one day she said, I've got the strength to, shove it aside, push it aside. And she managed to do it without any yogic practice. Maybe from a previous life she had developed this skill and she managed to get out of, the cancer. This happens once in a million or perhaps 1 in a billion even. But so we cannot rely on that. We have to rely on ourselves. What are the practicalities of this issue? Is this. First of all, the only thing we can do for the time being is to develop greater immunity for ourselves. So any activity you do that will give you greater immunity, what are the things that you can do? For example, if you are calm, if you are frightened, your immunity drops dramatically. Suppose you're not well rested, your immunity drops as well, very fast. So be rested, be calm, do not get frightened, and also develop your immunity using the right food, the right mental attitude, and this will allow you to fight the disease if you ever get it. Hopefully we never get it, but this is a nasty disease, it's not going to go away that easily. So if you can improve your immunity through these simple exercises, and again in the meantime, how do you protect yourself? Very simple regulation. Keep distance from other human beings, simple as that. It travels by, literally physical contact. So keep away from other human beings, keep your distance from other human beings, be very careful about washing. Let me give you a funny story. People don't realize how, even though this particular pesky little virus is very dangerous, there is a very easy way to get rid of it. It doesn't like soapy bath water. It doesn't like to be given a bath in soapy water. Simple as that. It destroys it. This virus is nothing but a little DNA protein which is covered with this very thin film, which in a way allows it to attach itself to the human body and infect it. Now what happens is that when you give it a soapy bath, soap has got a habit of washing away this thin film that is covering up this particular virus. Once you wash it away, it dies. Simple as that. So even though it's a very nasty thing, it can be cleared very quickly as well. Soap, just soap, ordinary soap. You don't need any. But the thing is this, but you must be meticulous. So you keep washing your hands, making sure that you keep cleaning everything with soapy water, etc. So that if there's any virus sitting on the surfaces somewhere, you wash it away. That's all that is required. And yet it is very tricky because it still hides and keeps reappearing. And it's not going to go away, unfortunately. Until we discover a vaccination, we are still going to face this virus for many months and perhaps a year even. So this is the unfortunate situation. Vijay, any question from you, sir?
Yeah, one question I had was, don't you feel that this current situation, it could be because of our karmas and we're getting a corrective kind of karma consequence for it as a whole society?
Yeah, you see, you can blame you can blame the highly materialistic world, saying that look, you are living such a frenzied life. You're destroying all the resources of the world. You're creating the global warming effect, which is going to destroy the world. So now you're paying a heavy price. But this virus doesn't come out of global warming. In a way, one thing will happen is maybe the global warming will stop now because all the activities have stopped. No more oil being burnt, etc. So suddenly the activity has stopped, so the global warming has stopped. This is, if you like, one of the side effects. I can't say it's a good thing, but this is one thing coming up. But these Hindus have this bad habit of throwing everything in the law of karma. It's to do with law of karma. Look, what bad things have humanity done that they kind of deserve that millions of people get murdered like this overnight? Why? What have they done? So this idea of focusing on law of karma is not the resolution. Law of karma is simply saying objects and events are intertwined. Recognize it. Doesn't mean that this thing has created that. They're connected. But there's nothing I can see that says, we need to pay a price because we did some bad and we killed a cow or something. That's why this virus is going to come and hit me like that. You mustn't go into this kind of oversimplistic interpretation of law of karma. Take some more questions from me, Manish Bhai.
Yes, sir. One of the viewer, Karan Rana, is asking about Hanuman Chalisa. So, sir, when I pray or listen to Hanuman Chalisa, it really fills me up with energy. Same with Durga Chalisa. So, could such prayers help us fight with this?
Indeed, as I said, if anything makes you feel strong about yourself, gives you greater kind of comfortable that you can fight off anything that you face, like Hanuman Chalisa would say, surely it is doing its work. So in that particular sense, it is true that this kind of tremendous faith in a particular mantra, a particular vision of spirituality is making you feel strong about yourself, and that allows you to fight off any such calamities that you face. Vijay, any question from me, sir?
Yeah. I mean, as you know, that science is offering so many solutions, like how to stay away, distancing. Apart from the mantras and whatever you mentioned, is there anything else the Hinduism can offer us to fight against this particular virus?
Yes, as I said, unfortunately, the only solution we've got is very simple, soapy water. This is able to kill the virus, number one, but then you'll be very vigilant and keep washing everything with your, especially your hands, with soapy waters day and night, almost all the time, just to make sure you don't pass on the virus, or you don't carry the virus, or you don't swallow the virus. But a simple trick, and that's very worrying for me even, is this. You see, we all the time, we've got a habit, human beings have a habit of touching their face. We like to touch our lips, our eyes, our nose, and clean the nose. And according to the scientific lobby, this is the very dangerous thing to do in this situation, because the virus can easily be sitting on your hand, and just a touch to your lips, your nose, or your eyes will allow it to enter your system. It just enters through your nose, eyes, or mouth. So this is a casual thing we do all the time. Suppose I see a piece of apple and say, let me take a bite, and take it and have a bite. My hands may be infected, the apple may be infected, and I'm really literally introducing the virus into my system. So simple things like we have to be very careful about the simple things that we do, like touching our face and making sure that our hands are clean before we eat or touch any food, or even clean the food before. So the takeaway food I would be very worried about, because that can easily carry the virus. Any question from you, Manish Bhai?
Yes, sir. We had a question from Babuli Patra on Facebook. He said, though I am a spiritual entity, why since Corona effect not able to practice sincerely? So he's struggling to practice spiritually,
Okay.
because the effect what's going on in the world.
Okay, it is not easy. It is a panic situation for sure. I'm being very honest, very realistic. And suppose you tell somebody, okay, oh, you see this virus is coming, why don't you sit down and meditate? The poor man is thinking, what will happen to my family? What will happen to my money? How will I survive? How can he focus his mind and meditate at this stage? It's going to be very difficult. We are all rattled to the core. So we have to recognize it and say, no, let me just take steps to safeguard my own family, myself, against this virus. That's the first thing we do. Then we say, think about meditation. Then we say, okay, now, for long-term resolution, let me develop my immunity. And sometimes, I've been very critical of Ayurveda, saying, some people say, oh, if you drink garlic water and ginger water, you can fight the virus. I'm saying, don't be silly. There is no such evidence whatsoever. So we require a vaccination. That's the only way to resolve it. But the thing is this, in the long term, this Ayurvedic medicine can build up your immunity, and that is useful. That's all. You must recognize it for what it is and not exaggerate its effects. Anything else you would like to ask me, Vijay?
Yeah, there's a question we have here from Tushar Patel, who's asking that what is the link between this coronavirus epidemic and Dharma? And what is the Advaita Vedanta perspective on this particular epidemic? Pandemic?
Okay, look, I'll be very blunt. I've been very blunt all day. Sorry, I may have offended a lot of people, rattled a lot of people, so be it. Because this virus, in effect, is rattling all of humanity, so be it. You must recognize it. Now you see, Advaita Vedanta simply says, this is a very frightening scenario. It simply says, suppose you say millions of people got wiped out. What happened to the souls? What happened to the world? Suppose everybody gets wiped out. What would Advaita Vedanta say? This is what Advaita Vedanta says. This will not satisfy you, but let me give you the blunt answer. It says, all these millions of people you think are on earth now have never been here. It's just an appearance, so the appearance get wiped out. This is Advaita Vedanta resolution to this issue that we are facing. So, that's all I can say. Advaita Vedanta doesn't give any resolution, it just recognizes things as they are. Any other question, Manish Bhai?
I don't have any. There is one question actually. Priya Ranjan saying, what is the difference between mindfulness and heartfulness meditation methods?
Okay, the only thing I can say, both these methods, for example, you can focus either on your intellect or on your emotion to, in a way, become more one-pointed. That's the idea behind mindful meditation and heartful meditation. That's what I would suggest. So your emotions and your intellect can be harnessed and be made one-pointed to focus on a deeper vision regarding who you truly are. One thing that's going to happen is this rattling we see, which is frightful. I put my hands up and I look at the situation in the world. Millions of people are being threatened. But one thing that is happening is this. The world is in a way evolving, moving towards a new vision regarding what is the nature of reality, what is our true nature, what is the nature of the world that we inhabit. So in a way, we are being rattled to the core. And one thing that is happening is very clear. This kind of highly materialistic lobby that has been ruling the mindset of the world, saying eat, drink and be merry. That has been rattled to the core, saying this is not the resolution of a human condition. There's something else that we must focus on, and that spiritual dimension that has been lost has to be recovered. So this is one thing that's going to come out of this crisis that we face. this kind of frenzied lifestyle that we adopted, pressurized by advertisement and greater kind of economic achievements, has been now put on the back burner, saying no, calm down. So this is one of the kind of side effects of this particular crisis. Vijay, any question from you, sir?
One question which is not linked to the current situation, but is a different question. He's saying that, Swami Vivekananda said that Buddha was a Gnani. What is the link between Gnani Yoga in relation to the Raj Yoga practice?
Okay, look, very, very frankly, I mean, I don't want to step into Buddhism because that's not my field. But we can see very clearly that Buddha adopted the idea of meditation to resolve the human condition. That is the method he adopted. And in fact, initially he was very severe on himself. He was about to die, not eating and drinking, just trying to resolve the human condition through meditation, through tremendous ascetic practices. He had to be rescued by a lady who gave him something to drink and make him come alive. So he has been using the tool of meditation that the Hindus have been using for thousands of years prior to Buddha to make sense of the world that we live in. So he used meditation. So whether you call it Gnani Yoga or Raj Yoga, because he was using the practice that is prescribed in Raj Yoga, meditation, looking inward. And Gnani Yoga is, if you like, the interpretation of your experience in Raj Yoga. How do you interpret that experience? That can be called the Gnani Yoga. So he's in a way incorporating both the Raj Yoga and the Gnani Yoga ideas to make spiritual progress. That's all I can say, really. Apart from that, I don't know what else to suggest, but Manishpa, any question from you, sir?
Yes, sir. Question about pilgrimages.
Yeah.
We see, Ramakrishna Paramahansa going on pilgrimages with Mathur Babu and staying in Vrindavan, and he didn't want to come back. What is your take on that?
Very difficult. This guy is very difficult to judge. In fact, his main student said, I can't judge him. His depth is too difficult to judge. So it's difficult for me to even make a comment on why he wanted to do that. You see, this man was very idiosyncratic in the sense that if he felt something has to be done, he would do it straight away. So when he was in Vrindavan, he said, I don't go back. I'm happy here. This is the place of spirituality. And he was very comfortable to stay there. He had to be dragged back to Calcutta. But so this is his play, I would say. That's all I can say. But there is no real, I can't give you a specific reason why he was so keen on Vrindavan.
Okay, staying on that theme, sir, we see Swami Brahmananda, Rakhal Maharaj, Mother Sardamani Devi, and even Swami Vivekananda going on pilgrimage. I believe Swami Vivekananda to Kedarnath on foot. What is your take on that?
You see, in a way, pilgrimage is a spiritual journey. It's not a kind of a holiday trip. It's a spiritual journey, not ordinary journey. So all these people somehow felt inspired to go on this kind of pilgrimage, a spiritual journey, to rediscover themselves, rediscover the essential nature of this creation. It's one of the kind of ascetic practices they adopted. It's not easy. They used to walk on foot, sometimes go without food and drink and so on to carry out. So they were kind of, in a way, being very austere on themselves to make spiritual progress. And pilgrimage is one of the ways of doing it. And they all done it. And there were wonderful examples of how these things used to unfold. I'll give you one example. When Swami Vivekananda was actually one of these pilgrimages, he was sitting across the bank of a river, and on the other side there was a yogi chanting the name of Ram. Suddenly a tiger came from nowhere and picked up that yogi and started crunching it. While he's being crunched, that yogi kept repeating Ram, Ram, and that imagery stayed with Swami Vivekananda throughout his life, saying, see, the devotion, the dedication to a principle is prepared to take on this kind of severe challenges. So when we see these little pesky little virus, we should say, don't worry, keep repeating, focusing on the spiritual aspiration, then you are safe. And take some more questions, please.
We have been having issue with, I think YouTube, it's not, it's getting buffering, not going.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be very frank with our viewers. Today, I don't have any technical people. I'm on my own with my little mentor sitting at the back here, and I'm really on my own. I'm struggling to get things working, so I'm somehow managing. And from time to time, the YouTube suddenly goes into buffering, and I have to keep touching it, saying, "Come on, get back." So it goes on and off, but I can't do much about it. This is the way things are.
Vijay Bhai.
Yeah, Vijay Bhai.
Okay, I have two questions. One question is that, coronavirus itself is a soul too, yeah? And it wants to live. Yes. Curious.
Look, the situation is actually, it's not a living thing. It's just a protein which has been covered with a film that attaches itself to a human body and destroys the human body. It's not a living thing even. This is why it's a very if it's a bacteria, we can use all this antibacterial material to get rid of it. It's not a bacteria. It's a virus. That's why it's a very tricky fellow to handle. That is why the scientists are pulling their hair out, trying to see how we can fight this particular virus. It's not a bacteria. It's a virus. They are very wild and very difficult. Even the common cold is a virus. We are not able to fight it up to now. We just have to kind of find a way of living with it.
Sure. One other question also. You just mentioned that that's how the movie crumbles, that's how the world is. Well, the question is this. A lot of people are saying that that's how nature is playing out. It's one of the fittest. So why are we working so hard to stop everybody doing activity? Basically, where is the whole nature of karma and doing action? We're stopping it, and yet he's not really playing the how we crumbling.
Yes.
What do you say to that?
Yes. We are crumbling in a big time at the moment. But you see, the thing is, the spirit that we talk about all the time, this Atman, the thing Brahma that we talk about, is a fighter. It reveals itself in the material world, and then it says, I don't want to be pushed about by matter or material forces. I want to overcome them. I want to harness them. This is a sign of living thing, sign of humanity. So this is a time to show that we are more than matter. We can push matter, including this pesky little virus, aside. And that we will do. I have tremendous confidence in the Western medicine, and they will come up with a resolution. Perhaps it will take 6 months or 1 year. In the meantime, we are at the mercy of this pesky little thing that is going to really rattle us. Anything from you, Manish Bhai?
Okay, I think last week somebody was asking about Yama, the god. Is he getting busy now? Is Yama real? And we see Yama coming up in Kathopanishad.
Yes,
which you say is a structure of authority. What is your take?
Indeed, you must ask. This is a good question. Okay, you see, the Kathopanishad is one of the Shruti scriptures, Upanishads, very powerful. In fact, it's the best Upanishad that I like. And this particular comes in a iconic format of a Yama, the king of death, talking to a little boy called Nachiketa, addressing serious philosophic issues. So that is the rupak, if you call it, the external, the symbolic way, that is not literal. I don't expect that Nachiketa's father said, I send you to the king of death. He found the address of king of death and knocked on his door. I don't believe in that. Come on, nobody can believe in that. So it is purely rupak. A symbolic way of kind of exploring this particular dialogue. So Yama is, according to me, just a symbolic way of looking at the idea of death as personified death. But do you think there's somebody called Yama, a dark person with a big moustache, sitting on a bull, going with a little, gada, mace, and saying, okay, I now take lives? I don't believe in that. This is purely a rupak, an iconic idea of how death approaches us. But you mustn't take it literally. And we have this problem of taking things literally. Even in the Upanishad sometimes, we use this rupak and just ride above it. Don't get caught up by it, saying this is literally to those yams, sitting on a bull, and then Nachiketa went to see him. You show it in a colorful story but that is the external part of the Upanishad. The deeper part is, what is the nature of reality? Are we at the mercy of reincarnation throughout? What is the resolution of humanity? I take some more questions. Which way?
Yeah, there's one question we have that is from Yashdeep Singh. He says that he keeps oscillating between Dvait and Advait philosophies. So what should he do? Is it okay?
Yes, you see, we can oscillate it. Look, I'll give you my example. Philosophically, Advaita is very powerful, very strong. It resolves all the human issues. A serious philosophical challenge can be addressed through Advaita. I'm fully aware of it. And I fall back on it if I'm being challenged philosophically. But in my day-to-day life, how can I be Advaita? Advaita is a destination, and I'm not at the destination, I'm here. So how do I address my issue here in the relative world that I live in? I have to focus on Dvait. Dvait means this guy, you see? This guy sitting behind me. Dvait means focusing on some personality to anchor my thoughts, to have some kind of support. So Dvait is a necessary support, or the Vishishta Dvait is perhaps a better way. Vishishta Dvait is the better way of, in a way, kind of moving from our present situation, which is very relative, into the idea of Dvait is our destination. Advait is our destination. The Dvait or the Vishishta Dvait that we adopt is, if you like, the pathway we adopt to reach our destination, which is essentially Advait. But the pathway is always Dvait or Vishishta Dvait. It cannot be otherwise. Look, I talk high philosophy. But when the chips are down, I look at him and say, oh, it's my answer. See, this is Dvait. He's external person and still individual. So we all require this kind of a Vishishta Advait or Dvait vision in order to progress towards our destination, which is Advait. Advait is not the path. Advait is the destination. If you think like that, then you are safe. That's what I do. When I hit the target and I'm in deep meditation, I'm in the state of Advait. But to reach that, I need these guys to kind of support me, prod me, come on, get cracking. So this is the way we progress. This is a wonderful synthesis of Dvait and Advait in the Hindu tradition. You must use both of them to make spiritual progress. So we are not apologizing for it. We recognize it. You see, again, people somehow feel, I meet a lot of Advaitis I dislike thoroughly. They just philosophize. They have no real grounding of experience. They talk about Advait. Damn it, you are not at Advait. You are talking to me. You are in Dvait situation. Talk to me in my level. No, Advait. So this kind of, artificially, flying off into Advait doesn't help me one bit. In fact, offends me. You start where you are. The pathway is always Dvait or Vishishta Dvait. Recognize it and progress further. Your destination is Advait. That is absolute. But the path you use is relative to you, where you are. That is this maturity is required. And I got it, do you know where I got it from this chap here? He said, look, when I'm in the depth of meditation, who is Mother Goddess? I don't care. But when I'm in my body, feel my body and I got a stomach, I say, Mommy, help me. See, in a wonderful way, he presents the idea of Dvait and Advait, how they are reconciled nicely. When you are in this situation, don't let go of your Dvait. I don't let go of him. That's why I put him at the back of me here. So you need this support to progress to the Advait, the destination. Vijay, any questions?
Yeah, one more question, Dilip. So what do these divine experience when you get glimpses? What do they, and the personal question to you, have you had any of these experiences?
don't put me on the spot. What is the first part of the question, sir? What's the first part of the question? What was your first part?
How do you know when you have these kind of glimpses of divine experiences?
Okay.
What do they look like, yes?
Yeah, well, they don't look. Look, I'll be very honest. Yeah, I'll be very honest because I like our viewers. I'm very personal, I'm very transparent. I would not be waving my arms like woohoo, yahoo, and day and night spending so many years of my life focusing on spirituality and my mentors unless I had been given, if you like, a glimpse of the deeper vision. So I am very honest. At the age of 17, I had the glimpse of the deepest vision you could ever imagine, very high level. So that is my, if you like, my inheritance. So I'm now saying I have to pay a price for that experience, and the price is to do the work that I'm doing now.
Thank you, sir.
You should Manish Bhai, ask me something less personal.
Okay, sir. We have a Krishna Chakraraj. He's asking, is it possible to link the idea of Maya and Leela with what is happening in the world today?
Indeed, yes, it is. The reason is this. Suppose you are a great devout person, you love Vishnu or Shiva, and how do you address the issue? And that's what they will do. Same with the Abrahamic tradition. When they face an issue, what do they say? They say, we don't know what is going on. This is the play of God. Ask him. We don't know why humanity is undergoing such suffering. We don't know. And the word they use in Hindu tradition is the word Leela. Now you see, if you are a sober person, this is a horrible Leela. This is a frightening Leela. People are crying, being killed like that. Humanity is being destroyed like this. Leela, what a horrific thing. So in a way, it falls short of satisfying a rationally, saying this is not a good word, not a good enough. It seems to be very worrying. But people who are devout say, this is it. We are going to hang on to it, Leela, with our firm, faith. Go away. There are people like that. So be it. They will play. If they die, they'll die. But they'll hang on with the word Leelas. In the Abrahamic tradition, the same idea. We don't know what God is doing, but we're going to hang on with our faith. The word Maya is slightly more philosophically satisfying. That comes from the Advaita tradition. It says, really, as I said earlier on, you think this humanity is struggling and are dying, they are not here at all. And you say, but we are here, we are paying the price, we are suffering, we are sweating. They are saying, this is part of the game, part of appearance. It's philosophically satisfying, but in my day-to-day life it's not satisfying at all. But this is the word Maya. This is all just appearance. Don't worry. This is just an appearance. You are never here. See, all these million people get murdered. Don't worry. They are never here. So this appearance disappeared. So don't worry. But this is, if you like, philosophically satisfying, but in a very practical manner, it's not satisfying at all. It makes me shudder even more. Oh dear. So all these things I was hanging on to is all pure Maya. This is terrible. Including this guy is Maya. So, but this is the approach that is required in the Advaita tradition. We focus on the word Maya, and the Advaita tradition will focus on the word Leela. So be it.
Okay,
Correct.
However, I always wonder whether other viruses, bacteria or fungi that are living organisms have jivas.
Yes.
Are the jivas atmas or just prakruti?
No,
Do microbes have vasanas?
you see, even a single cell, oh God, the phone, one of the phones cooled down saying the phone is too hot, it's going to cool down. God help us. So one of the channels is gone now. I don't know if I can get it back. Emergency. I pressed emergency call, but it doesn't help me. Sorry, one of the phones is calling off saying it's too hot. The virus is getting into the phone, I think. Okay, so I'll carry on with this particular channel only at the moment. Sorry, we have to switch channels. This channel is decided to close down saying it's too hot. My room is not hot. Sorry, what was the question we were addressing there from?
So the question is, other viruses, bacteria, fungi that are living organisms, do they are they jivas?
Yes,
and do
yes.
they have atmas or just prakruti?
Yeah.
Do
Okay.
they have vasanas, and can humans reincarnate as bacteria?
No. The thing is, when the fabric of reality, the material world that we are so kind of engaged with, begins to kind of in a way show little breaks and kind of appear, the spirit appears more visible as living things, as a single cell being. This is how the living kingdom started. A single cell, not a virus, a single cell being appeared. And then it started to multiply, grow, become more complex, become human at this stage, after about 3.5 billion years. So right from the day one, when it started to have a kind of individuality as a being, I'm not saying it is kind of individualized Atman, but basically it has started to develop an individuality in its own way. You can't call it Jivatman, but it's in a way the spirit now taking on a form as a single cell being and then becoming more and more complex. So it's already Jivatman. The Vasana, what Vasana? It is just surviving purely at the level of Prakriti, as you said, just as, if you like, just inert matter, but in a way focusing on certain individuality and then becoming more complex. But the pestilential virus is not a Jivatma. It is not a living thing at all. It is just a protein that is creating real hell for the rest of us. Manish Bhai, you are the only one talking now. Vijay Bhai, you can ask me a question. Doesn't matter. You can't see it.
Yeah.
Go on.
I have a question for you. The concept of Kal or time in Hinduism is quite vast. We have the idea of Mahakali. Shiva is also known as Mahakal. So what can you explain a little bit more on the concept of time in Sanatana Dharma? How is it linked to the idea of Sanatana Dharma?
It's a good question. Okay, we agree with the idea. We are very close to the findings of modern cosmology. Modern cosmology says there was a big bang when time started. There was no time, it just appeared from nowhere. Spontaneous creation. Time, space and causation opened up their arms and creation came into being. Desh, Kar and Nimit. Very central feature, very powerful idea at the heart of our tradition. Through introspection, our ancient rishis saw this actually. This is how the creation came into being. So we agree with modern cosmology about Big Bang, about so on. We are saying that this thing, whether it will continue, is expanding, still expanding, accelerating, is going faster and faster away. But what is pulling it apart? Nobody knows. So the Kali is in a way continuing, getting stretched and moving on faster and faster. So what is the resolution? According to Hindu cosmology, a time will come when this thing that's pulling it apart say, okay, time to finish. Stop this business. It will start contracting. So it will go back to square one. So it will in a way contract, and we have a big crunch. Just with a big bang, we'll have a big crunch. Everything will disappear, and then it may start again. This is what my Professor Roger Penrose says. Like a big bounce, expands and contracts and disappears, and again reappears. It may have happened many a times. This is the idea that we agree with. But modern cosmology cannot say that because they think the world is moving away apart from each other so fast. Maybe there will be no big crunch, just kind of disappear into zero, into absolute 0 degree temperature, and nothing will be left. So this is like an open system. At the moment there is no answer to it. The answer may come from Hinduism saying this thing that is stretching it apart, as Vijay said, Mahakal. There is something greater than the physical reality that is in a way of pulling this thing apart, because at the moment there is no physical way to explain why the universe is expanding so fast. There is no physical ability. They call it dark energy. What the heck is it? Dark means we don't know anything about it. So the world is sitting like that. Hinduism says we've got an answer. There's something greater and deeper than this ordinary material world that you are so fixated on. That is kind of stretching itself, and that will again one day decide to wind up. When it does winding up, The whole creation will come to a big crunch, and it may start again. This is the Hindu cosmology, very powerful thought, and that's why CERN laboratory loves this image of dance of Shiva, creation and destruction, at the CERN laboratory. Take one more question. Vijay Bhai, any other question from Vijay Bhai?
Yeah. I think Sanatan Dharma. So what is the Sanatan Dharma is closely linked to the idea of Einstein's general theoretical relativity and the idea of special theoretical relativity.
Indeed.
Regards to the time variable stuff. Would it be linked, you think, in your mind?
In fact, it's very interesting to explore this. My mentor, Swami Vivekananda, when he became famous in 1893 in Chicago, he met one individual called Tesla. You may have heard the name Tesla, Nikola Tesla. He was East European, very powerful scientist. In fact, I think he has not been given credit for what he has discovered. He discovered a lot of things, including alternate current energy. This is a major discovery. Somebody has stole the idea from him. He actually met Swami Vivekananda in Chicago in that particular period. They had an interesting conversation. They both liked each other very much. And Tesla told Vivekananda, I'm working on mathematics to show how matter and energy are strongly intertwined, interrelated. Vivekananda said, I agree with you. And they were going to meet again to discuss this further, but somehow the second meeting never took place. This is the historic background to Tesla and Vivekananda and the idea of Einstein's theory of converting energy into matter. There are a few other things that, that must mention this. You see, Vivekananda was very far ahead of his time. This shows he's a great rishi, a real person with introspection. He said something else. He said, and at that time they just discovered how they can send signals using wires. This idea of using wires to send telephone messages. And Vivekananda straightway commented, it will be possible to send messages without using wires. He said, how did he know? And today all these things are working on that. What wires? You don't need wires. What is transmitting this? Vivekananda could see there is inner thing that is underpinning reality that will allow messages to pass without use of wires. See, this is the depth of this great ancient rishi. This was in 1900, before this kind of wireless was discovered. So these are kind of interesting things we see in the life of Swami Vivekananda. Manish Bhai, any more questions from your side, sir?
No, Nishit Bhai, yes.
Sorry, Manish Bhai, anything from you?
We had one question from Nisha Italia saying, if we say epics such as Ramayana and Mahabharata are Itihas, which are historical, how do we separate fact from fiction?
Yes, with great difficulty. I'm very honest. I have been brought up, we know Ramayana and Mahabharata. I loved it when I was a little child. I used to dance about, singing. I was able to sing some of the slokas, all that. But then in no time I said, a lot of things that are in the Ramayana and the Mahabharata cannot be literally true, can't be literal truth, it just can't be. So that common sense appeared and kicked in and said, this I can't swallow it, say this is all actually literally true. So immediately I started putting in the word of caution saying, even though the stories have got a historic foundation, everything that you read in the Ramayana and Mahabharata are not literally true. Oh, Hindus, wake up. They can't be literally true. Otherwise, all this is utter outlandish material. You destroy the dignity of your religion if it is literally true. Recognize the limitation. A lot of things have been added and subtracted over thousands of years, and they are not literal. So be careful. They're exaggeration, or sometimes things have been taken out of the story. So recognizing them for the historic foundation is wonderful, and the reason why I'm sure that historic is this. The influence they have cast on not just India, but throughout the Southeast Asia is so dramatic. This cannot come about by pure storytelling, narrative. It cannot. There must be a foundation to it, and the foundation is there. That's why we say it's got historic foundation. I can't find any digs, any archaeological evidence saying this is where Ramayana. There is nothing archaeologically available, but the impact it has made on Southeast Asia makes me feel comfortable. Look, I'm very guarded. Makes me comfortable that they have got historic foundation. That's all I can say. Any other question from either of you, sir?
I have one question answered, sir.
Yeah, go on.
No, well, I don't have any more questions. I think it's nearly 3 o'clock, sir. So
okay, we should finish. Vijay Bhai, last question from you, sir.
Yeah, one question I have is that, some people say that if you're devoted to a particular deity, you can feel its impact and effect. For example, there's one person who says that a devotee of Saraswati, whenever he sings, he actually feels that Saraswati is actually coming to her and playing the music through her heart and mind of the devotee. What is your view on that?
Look, if the devotee is thrilled by what he is experiencing, that's a good signal. You can't get thrilled just by pure, making it up. So if a person is getting real thrill in his system, his whole thrill, his hair stands on end, and it's being thrilled by it, then means something is actually happening. So what is happening is this. He, through his tremendous devotion, is invoking this idea of Saraswati as Mother Goddess, Mother of all learning and music, etc. Is invoking her to interact with him. Just as my mentor Sri Ramakrishna used to do that. So if this is working for him, the best proof is not me. He has to say, am I getting the thrill that is out of this world thrill? If he's getting that thrill, that means he's actually invoking Saraswati to come and interact with him. That is a very good sign, and I wish him well. I think we should finish with that. Thank you both of you for participating, and I'm sorry that we had a bit of glitches on one of the channels, but that's our life. This is.
Sir, do you want to tell people our WhatsApp number so they can join on the
Yeah, the WhatsApp number is simple. It's 07717884792. By the way, we are planning to do this kind of quick question and answer sessions very quickly to engage more and more people. If you find this interesting and exciting and relevant, please share these ideas with your friends so they can watch as well. Sorry, today we had a problem with one channel. Thank you very much, my friends.
And we'll continue on Saturday as well.
Oh yes, yeah. Saturday we do the same. We got another question and answer session. Thank you, Manish bhai. Thank you, Vijay bhai.